Hammer Jam is where you can make the most progress in Clash of Clans, so I will cover all of the tips you need to know to maximize this. It is an event that happens prior to a new Town Hall release, where upgrades in the home village have a 50% reduction in both cost and time. This includes buildings, troops within the laboratory, your heroes, pets, walls. The only thing not included is temporary content, so superchargers and the crafted defenses. Clearly, the more active you are during this event, the more you can take advantage of the tips I'm about to give, because you will be farming more loot in order to spend on those upgrades. Now that the system is split into battles and ranked battles, you no longer have to worry about dropping out of Legend League, trying to maintain your trophy count. You can just spam sneaky goblins in battle mode and gain those resources super quick. This is even boosted during Hammer Jam because resource collectors will be doubled in both their storage capacity and their production. What this means is passively you will be gaining more loot, but there will also be juicier targets in multiplayer because you can steal more loot from the mines and pumps. For the gold and elixir, you can steal 50% of whatever is in the mines and pumps, and during Hammer Jam, the storage of that is doubled. And out of a dark elixir drill, you can steal 75% of someone's loot that is within that drill. This means that whilst you still might want to use wall breakers or jump spells to get your sneaky goblins in towards storages, since battle mode doesn't have any trophies, you can spam sneaky goblins on the outside of the base, take loot from the collectors, exit the battle, and just rinse and repeat. Whilst you can use full strength armies, since now you can clash anytime there's no training for troops, you could just cook up a bunch of dragons, and I would still recommend doing your ranked battles and attacking seriously in there. For the regular battle mode, sneaky goblins will just be way faster for you. However, the first thing we're going to go over is management of your builders, so you can take advantage of the magic items, which is what we will expand to next. I briefly covered this in my preparation video for Hammer Jam when I explained how you can stack up your CWL medals to be ready. However, now is the time to use them. When it comes to the builders though, clearly you want to try and have your builders working as much as possible during this event. You do not want to have them have any downtime, because then you're wasting the 50% cost or time reduction. It can come down to a little bit of your base progression, but how I generally take advantage of this is locking up all of the builders apart from one during the day. And that means that as you're farming, you can literally just dump excess loot into walls. However, once you get to an evening and you're about to go to sleep, that's when you can actually get that builder you've been saving onto working overnight. And that's equally when I recommend you use your builder potions, unless you have stacks of them that you need to use during the event. But then overnight, maybe use 1, 2, 3 builder potions, however many it is, to whereby the next morning you would be having the builders, at least one of them, finish, so that you then have a builder during the day to be dumping excess loot into walls. This was always the biggest recommendation in Hammer Jam's years gone by, because there was only a 50% cost reduction, but now with the time reduction, you don't want to be missing out on that. But I still think the sheer amount you can be farming during this event and how easy it will be, you really do want to just grind out those walls whilst they're 50% off. Once your builders are locked up, whilst it's 50% off the time, you're kind of stuck. You can't farm and spend those resources. So that's how I will be managing my builders, in terms of keeping one free during the day and then using my builder potions overnight. Before we get to the magic items, it is important to note that should you purchase the gold pass, this will stack on top of the 50% discount. However, you don't get a 70%. So with Hammer Jam, should an upgrade be 10 million gold and take 10 days? With Hammer Jam, it is now 5 million gold and 5 days. With the gold pass, the 20% discount then stacks on top of this already discounted price, meaning your 20% takes the 5 million gold down to 4, and the 5 days down to 4 days. So it's more like a 60% discount than a 70. I mentioned the builder potions, but there are other magic items you need to be taking advantage of during this event. A lot of the time they have offers whereby you get a ton of loot, which is good to get your builders working, but you get magic items as well, specifically potions. If you are purchasing any of those, you can support the channel by pressing the C and entering code Judo beforehand. Likewise, you can do this on the Supercell store, which I would highly recommend because it's the same price as in-game and you earn extra items for making purchases over there. Sometimes it's magic items in that of potions, other times it is gems, and you will need those gems for during Hammer Jam as well. I will get to that. But I appreciate the support with code Judo. It helps me to make the best Clash of Clans videos that I can. Clearly, if you're buying these offers, you can take more advantage of Hammer Jam, but you will still make amazing progress as a free-to-play by continuing to follow this advice. Be sure to check the CWL shop so you can see how many medals you have. This is part of the advice I gave in that video preparing for Hammer Jam, but any CWL medals you have, you want to be using on builder potions. Research potions are a close second. Do not spend them on the hammers. They are not as good value. The builder potion will apply to all of the builders, and due to upgrades being 50% off, the builder potions, you could say they give you twice the value, but essentially they do not lose value. The hammers lose value, as do your books. Now, I'm going to go over the books in a moment because I would still recommend using them, but you have to be a bit more tactful with it. Let's stick with the potions for a moment, though. Builder potions, research potions, pet potions, any that you already have access to or that you can get access to, you want to use during this event. They don't lose value, so essentially you're getting twice the value out of any of those potions. You clearly need to make sure, as I've mentioned, your builders are all working, you have troops researching in the laboratory, pets being upgraded as well. Do not let any of these discounts go to waste. There are other areas you can get the potions, whether that be the trader shop. I would consider spending raid medals to get some of those. You may want to spend raid medals on loot to keep the builders working, but again, you should be able to do that fairly easily by farming, but essentially any way you can get access to those potions, you want to be getting them and using them. If you do have points from making purchases on the Supercell store, or even if you just visit the Supercell store each month to claim your mission points, you may be able to get some extra builder or research potions from the rewards website as well. So make sure you're checking just in case you have some of those. Even if it's 1 or 2 extra potions, it's going to give you that little bit extra value for the event. Now, there is some advice you can follow as to what you should actually upgrade. It does come down to a little bit of where your base is at. Are you rushed? Are there particular things that you need to upgrade? However, what I will say is that the cheaper upgrades, you can potentially save some of those for overnight if you do want to make sure that you can use 1 or 2 builder potions and then free that builder up again the next day to put it into walls. Because it does not matter if you're doing a cheaper upgrade, a longer upgrade, you're still getting that 50% discount. But some of your cheaper upgrades, maybe you can utilize overnight. However, your longest upgrades I would not do during Hammer Jam until right at the end. The reason for this is whenever you start an upgrade during Hammer Jam, the cost, and therefore the time as well, applies when you start the upgrade. So you can save the longer upgrades until the end of Hammer Jam so that then those upgrades go into the time after Hammer Jam and you're taking advantage of that 50% discount for longer. You may want to use some gems, maybe save 1 of the builder potions, or even some of your books to help sync that up so you can get those longer upgrades going. But again, when it comes to the books, you could still use them to take advantage of the cost reduction. And if you're not planning to go straight up to Town Hall 18 once it is released, well then I would still use the books during Hammer Jam, knowing that you're not really taking advantage of the time, you're just getting the cost discount. However, if you are planning to go straight to Town Hall 18, then I would actually make sure to save on to your books, because you can use them to get straight to the new town hall and get a couple of those more important upgrades going once you get there. Whilst upgrading your heroes does mean you don't have them for Clan War, and specifically the Clan War League, it really depends on your clan as to whether you should upgrade them during Hammer Jam. They do have that 50% off. Maybe focus on them after the Clan War Leagues. Do your ranked hits first, obviously, but I would try and take advantage of some of the hero upgrades, because Dark Elixir is trickier to farm than Golden Elixir, so you get advantage of that 50% discount, and clearly it's nice to be able to take advantage of those hero upgrades. Maybe you can quickly do some of them when you are planning to use some of the builder potions, so that you can get them back up to use them again right afterwards. The Goblin Builder and Researcher are here for Hammer Jam, so you want to take advantage of that as well. The way that both of these work is that it is a flat price of 40 gems per day, which means they are fantastic value for lower town hall players. It's cheaper than using a book, where you're not getting as much value, but essentially you're also getting more value out of your builder and research potion by using them. So you can think of the Goblin Builder and Researcher being half price or giving you twice the value. Like, however you want to look at it, due to Hammer Jam, you are getting more value out of the Goblin Builder and Researcher as well, so now is the time to use them. If you have any extra gems, you want to be using them on the Goblin Builder and the Researcher. That does come down to a little bit of what you need the most, but essentially you'll get the same value out of both of them. I like to slant towards the Goblin Researcher because it gives you double the value of the research potion. The Goblin Builder just gives you like a percentage increase by having a 7th builder rather than 6. And that is 6 if you've already unlocked the 6th builder from the builder base. There is also extra ore during Hammer Jam, not necessarily directly tied to the event. Meteors are falling from the sky, and when you remove those, you get ore. There are different types. You may want to keep one of each as a souvenir, but it's great to have some extra ore alongside Hammer Jam as well. That is what Hammer Jam is about, trying to let people catch up before the new town hall. Whilst in previous years, we've always had significant cost and time reductions with a new town hall, I'm not sure that that will be the case this time around, because we did have massive reductions during the October update. So we will see. I wouldn't be holding out for many reductions, so you really do want to be taking advantage of Hammer Jam to catch up and make as much progress as possible on your base. With that advice, you will be able to make as much progress possible. I will be bringing Town Hall 18 sneak peek videos explaining everything about the update over on my main channel, and I will be sure to share all of my Town Hall 18 thoughts here on the second channel, with it being a bit more discussion based. I did have the privilege of producing a video for the main Clash of Clans channel explaining Hammer Jam, so that's equally why I placed one on my second channel, so that I didn't just duplicate the video onto my main channel. But if you did happen to watch it over there, I hope you enjoyed it. Make the most of Hammer Jam, and I will place a recommended video for you on your screen. Enjoy the rest of your day.